Talking with Topher is sponsored by New Hampshire Vape Gallery, NaturalBossNH.com, and SlowDownClothing.BigCartel.com. More on that later. Let's get into episode 62. What is happening, TwT fans? I am so glad to be back. It is Monday, June 7th, 2021. It's 92 degrees outside. It's a scorcher, but I am just loving this weather. I love getting outside in the sun. I hope everybody out there is enjoying their Thursday morning. Yes, I do recognize that it is going to be Thursday when you see this, and we're supposed to have a beautiful week, so you should be having a great start to your day as well. I think it's going to be around 82, but we shall see what happens. I want to thank everybody for subscribing, watching, liking, sharing. All of those things are important. They help the podcast grow and keep me coming back week after week, so I want to thank you for doing that for me. And if you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe, hit those like buttons, set those alarms so you know when all the new podcasts upload. It's every Thursday. Haven't missed one yet. So I'm not going to start letting you down now. And share, rate, and review. All of those things help the podcast grow. And I appreciate everybody who already does. If you want to get involved with the podcast, all right, I have an official email. It is talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Whatever you want to talk about, put it in that subject line. We'll get that started. It's going to be a great segment once it gets off the ground, but I need your participation to do it. So if you want to get involved with the podcast, put what you want to talk about in the subject line. We'll get that started. Send it on over to talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Again, that is talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. You can also follow me on all social media: Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Go there, follow. There's extra content going on throughout the week. And again, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. All right, now with all of that out of the way, let's get into today's episode. Let's see. First, I want to talk about the weekend. I hope everybody had a great one. It was real hot out there, but it was so enjoyable. You know, the night ride was great going home from work. I just love this weather. I just love it. Even when it's super, super hot outside like this, it's enjoyable. We wait so long for this to happen, and it's just so nice when it is here. Even sometimes being unbearable, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a beautiful thing, and we get to see all four seasons. And you know, fall is usually my favorite because the sweatshirts come back out and everything like that. But I mean, you can't beat summer. You just can't. It's not even summer yet. It'll be summer June 20th, but you know, the unofficial start was Memorial Day, so it's just really enjoyable. But it's a scorcher out there, and because of that, you're going to want to stay hydrated, all right? I don't really have any current events today. I'm going to just go over whatever I'm going to go over what was going on with me all weekend. I want to, ask how everybody's doing out there, but no current events today. But I do want to send a message to everybody out there to hydrate. All right, it's getting hot outside, and staying hydrated is super important. Dehydration is very serious, and we haven't heard of anybody dying from it just yet, but it happens every summer. Every summer, people die of dehydration, and I don't know. I don't want anybody to die because they didn't drink enough liquids. Get the water. Drink it. If you're going to be outside in the sun, just take a break from the alcohol, take a break from the soda, take a break from that stuff. Get yourself at least 20 to 40 ounces of water in your system and stay hydrated. It's going to be very important. The other message is I can't believe how many people have drowned in the last 3 days. I know 4 people doesn't sound like a lot of people because of how many people there are on the planet and in the United States. But just in our area, I think there was a couple in Mass and a couple in New Hampshire. I could be wrong about that, but there was like 4 people that drowned over the course of like 3 days. You know, one teenager was drowning. An officer jumped in, tried to save him, and they both ended up drowning. I don't know exactly the details of what happened, but, you know, it's very sad that they both drowned. You know, it's supposed to be a beautiful day. You're supposed to be having fun, and it turns into a nightmare and then a tragedy. So it was just really sad to see. And then another kid drowned, I think, at a pool. So the message is just to be careful out there. Keep your eyes open. You know, look out for other people. Obviously, the teenager, somebody was looking out, but it might have been too late. Maybe there was an undertow. Like I said, I didn't look into any of these, but I want people to be cautious, even though we're supposed to be having fun and enjoying this. You know, you don't want to. You know, it's a sad. Any time of the year is a sad time to pass, but I mean, when you're out there and you're swimming and enjoying the sun and, you know, you don't want to get dehydrated and you don't want to drown. So just use caution and keep your eyes open for other people is basically all I had to say about that. I just thought that was important to get out there right up front. But let's see. My weekend, my weekend was not so bad. Not so bad. Obviously, worked all day Saturday. Worked all day Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday I have off. Amazing, hot, beautiful day, right? It got up to like 92 yesterday. Maybe it was a little bit hotter. I stopped paying attention once I saw 92, 93 on the thermometer. So I was like, all right, you know, I had to clean up after those trees. That was the big thing. So I rearranged my Sunday so that I could have the tree guys come, because I finally got a hold of a company that would come and look at the trees. I had a bunch of people tell me that they don't work in this area. I had some other people tell me if there's a crane involved, they couldn't do anything. And then this one said, I will see you Sunday at 8:30 in the morning. Now, I'm not going to mention the company. I'm not going to mention anything. I'm just going to tell you what happened. So I am waiting Sunday morning. It's now 8:08 in the morning. And we made these agreements for him to come over and look at the trees on Thursday. 8:08 happens, and I get a text message saying that I'm not coming. I got to go to the beach. It was something like that. It was very vague. I could read the actual text message, but it's not important. What's important is that we made the plans on Thursday. It's 8:08 on Sunday. Supposed to be there at 8:30, and now I'm getting a text message saying that can't make it till later this afternoon, going to the beach this morning. Well, I will tell you, I was not a very happy person because I rearranged my entire morning so that I could be there for him to show up to look at the trees. And then I have to go grocery shopping and then come home. And now I have to rake, mow, and clean up the yard. Because one of the trees is done. The other one is starting to bloom its helicopters. So I'll be back at it again in like a week. But anyways, that's the plan to get things done. And now this guy is telling me he can't make it till this afternoon. So I get a little upset, kind of angry, no yelling, no screaming, keeping my composure. I text him, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to read the text message because it's so much easier. So, let's see. Yep. Let's see. We will stop by. We're on our way home from the lake. Yeah, that's what it was. It was when I get home from being at the lake, I will see you. I said, what time? I say, can I please have a time? You're going to arrive. I rearranged my entire morning. Now you're canceling on me, in a sense, and I'm very upset right now. That's what I sent him, and I felt that was fair. Under 22 minutes of a warning or notification that you're not showing up is really, really rude. Could have contacted me on Saturday and been like, hey, things have changed, but I'll see you Sunday afternoon. I would have said fine. That would have been great, actually, because the yard would have been clean. Everything else would have been done, and that wouldn't have been a big deal. But the time, giving me 22 minutes, that's what upset me, and plus I got other things to do. Time is money, and if you're wasting time, you're wasting money. So I said that, and then I got, we will just come by now and take care of it. So they were 10 minutes away. They came, and he gets out of the car. He takes a look at the tree. He looks at everything going on, points out the obvious that the tree is sick and dying, and I get that. There's no good wood on this thing left. It's horrible. You go to the top of the tree, you got some firewood up there. You go to the bottom tree, there's just it's all rot. Nothing's left. Things are gonna fall off of it soon. It really is a dangerous hazard at this point. So he tells me that, I get it, and then he goes to his truck, he writes out my estimate, comes back, and is like, okay, so I could bring a bucket truck in, and I can chop all this in one day, and then we'll come back, and we'll take the rest of it down, it'll be a half day. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I get the estimate, and it's crazy, it's outrageous. And I was just like, oh, okay, thank you. And then he got in his truck with his boat, tied to the back and took off. Really nice truck, big fucking boat. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful boat. I was like, yeah, I get it. And I looked at the total of that, and I'm not going to say the total of it because it's not really relevant. It was 3 times the price it was 3 years ago. So I was like, at one point, I was like, well, this is outrageous. But at the same time, I think he wrote that quote down because I pissed him off by making him come to my house that morning instead of him being able to get up to the lake a little bit earlier. So I think the quote was written in spite to deter me from hiring him. That's what I think. That could just be me being on the defense and basically telling myself, there's no way it cost this much today. There's just no way it went up 3 times what it was. And I just don't believe that, And then he did say that he was going to use a bucket truck, which I found to be good information because I called another company. And because I told them they were going to have to bring in a crane, they were like, oh, in that case, we can't do it because we subcontract our crane. But this guy was like, oh no, I could totally come in here, do all this in one day with a bucket truck. And I was like, ooh. So I'm going to call the other company back, let them know that I talked to this company, and they said they could do it with a bucket truck. So I bet you could too. And maybe they can come down and take a look as well, and give me an estimate, because those are the people that have been working with my dad for like the last 3 years, removing all kinds of pine trees around his property. So I kind of wanted to use them because my dad's like really good at finding good people, and he's really good at sifting out the bad ones. He might have to use them, but he'll let me know right up front, don't ever use these guys, they suck. So I trust his judgment, and I'm going to call those people back and see if maybe the story would change if all they have to use is a bucket truck. So but that's what happened with the tree. I finally won the fight, and this feels good to me because, like I said before, if I need to, I will put a structure up out back. I will do something to put shade in place of the trees. I know it won't ever be the same. It's definitely going to make the backyard different, but it's going to make the backyard safer. It's going to make our neighbors' property safer. I'm not going to have these worries anymore. And I will tell you, after like 2.5 hours of my wife helping me clean up the yard, she realized what I have to go through and what time I would get back to if we got rid of the trees, because she wants to go do things. And unfortunately, being part of a homeowner is taking care of your property and making sure that you're not the shittiest looking house on the block. And that's my main goal, is that my house always looks clean. It always looks ready to go. You know what I mean? Grass is mowed, nothing hanging around on the front. There's nothing hanging out on the sidewalk. Everything's cleaned up. It's nice and clean looking. I wouldn't say it's pretty. It's still in rough shape. I got a lot of work to do still, but it's nice and neat. And that's what's important to me. And that has to be taken care of before I get to enjoy other things. And she wanted to do stuff, and I'm like, we have to get this done. Otherwise, we're going to have all these little maple trees trying to grow, and we can't have that happening. We gotta get rid of these helicopters, throw them in the trash, and we got to make sure that, we don't get any of these trees popping up in areas where we don't want them. So you have to take care of this stuff, and because of that, she realized how much work it is that I go through. I think she's always realized what I do, but she realizes it now more as our nieces and nephews get older, and she wants to go and see them. They're graduating, all these things are happening, and she wants to be there to see these things, and so do I. But my first priority is our home. Our home is my first priority, and making sure it's all nice and clean and okay. That's what needs to be done first before I can do anything else. So I finally won the fight because she wants me to have more time to go do things and see people. So I got excited because I was like, oh my God, finally. It took 7 years of bitching and complaining about these trees for her to finally say, yeah, we can do something else. Let's get rid of them. So that's the path I'm on now. I'm hoping by the end of the month I've locked down somebody to take the trees. One of my friends mentioned calling lumber yards and checking them out. So I'm going to do some more digging, do some more calling. I at least need 5 estimates on the table before I make a decision. But so far I have one, and I'll have another one this week. I got somebody to come and look at it on Thursday. So I am just digging into this. It's going to be a lot of my focus to make sure I get this all taken care of by the end of the month, get something locked down, and then do what we have to make them go away. So I'm excited to finally get rid of my worst nightmare ever. I will no longer have to clean up after them, and I will no longer have to worry about whether or not a branch is going to break off and fall in my neighbor's backyard, maybe, I don't know. I worry about the dogs being outside, and then one day that thing snaps and they just happen to be running under it as it's coming down. And I just see this nightmare in front of me. And then, of course, I don't want anything to fall on the garages, even though my garage is falling down anyways, and it's in really bad shape. I don't want the tree to help it anymore. I kind of want to keep it standing. That would be nice. I don't want to replace the roof, and I definitely don't want to replace the roof on my neighbor's garage since they just had it done. So I am excited about that. That's one of the things that was going on Sunday. And then after that, it was just a regular day, By 5 o'clock, I was taking a shower, and by 7, we were eating steak. And man, by 8 o'clock, I was like falling asleep. So it was just a wonderful, beautiful day. And then today, what a great Monday. Back in class. I love it. They're still having us do the digital sign up. But the Rick School in Plastow, he got rid of it. So everything's starting to feel like we're getting there, like where we used to be. But, you know, people's tempers are up. Everybody's got short fuses. This lockdown and everything really tribalized a lot of people. And I believe it's starting to show, not just from my customers coming in and maybe having a small attitude about putting on the mask still, but from people on the road. I mean, just aggressive. No one's paying attention to see if anybody else is there before they change lanes, stop signs, all these things. People are just on edge. So, yeah, I guess we're getting back to where we used to be, but it's still a little weird out there, right? We're in like a transition phase again. But I will have to say that I am having some brain fog right now. And this is what I wanted to get into, but I was trying to lead up to it, and I don't know what happened. I am having brain fog. I am having fatigue still. And it's very, very irritating. And I know it's from the vaccine. And I'm just going to talk about it because everybody's getting this thing, right? We're all jumping on board of this experiment. And I will have to say that I'm very upset that I did. There's two reasons, right? Two reasons why. One, because I really didn't think I was going to do it. And then being in the retail world, I felt like I had almost no choice because I didn't want to catch COVID. And then the other reason, I did it, is that what I was talking about? That I did it or I didn't do it? No, I did it. So the other reason I did it was to, I guess it was only one reason. Yeah, so the main reason I got the vaccine was because I felt like my hand was forced working in the retail world, being out in public, and the masks coming off, right? They're coming off of people that are vaccinated. And that's fine, but I didn't want to catch COVID, so I got the vaccination. I felt like my hand was a little forced, and now I am feeling fatigued. I've got brain fog. I don't know exactly how that all just came out, but I will check into it, and we'll see how it edits. But this is what I'm talking about. I just lost all train of thought a moment ago, okay? Yesterday was not as difficult of a day for me, but Saturday was a real tough day. Just doing normal things. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy, just maybe going through a juice order at the shop or like last night. This is just part of my everyday thing. It's the end of the night. And I have some peanut butter. I have a little bit of chocolate. And then I usually have some non-dairy ice cream, low in sugar. And what I do is I eat my peanut butter right out of the jar because I don't make any sandwiches and no one else is using it but me. So I eat right out of the jar. And I use that spoon again to eat my ice cream later, right? Makes sense. Why dirty a second spoon? I have been doing this for the last, 3 years, maybe the last 2.5 years. And never have I used a second spoon. Last night, I go to get my ice cream, and then I sit down and I'm eating my ice cream, and then I get up to throw the container away or put it back in the, no, I get up to put the container back in the freezer, and that's when I realize I have a new spoon in my hand. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm looking, and I got a spoon on the table, and I got a spoon in my hand. And I'm like, what is going on? And I pointed out to Nicole, and I'm like, look at this. Look at this shit. And I every time I did something like that, I pointed it out to her. I'm like, look what I'm doing. Or look what I just did. You know, it's that's what I'm talking about. So I went to the message center on Dartmouth, and I messaged my PCP. And my PCP told me that like a week ago, if you're still feeling this way, you need to come see us. So I had all these things happen, and I hit them up again, and they were like, you need to come in. Please give us a date when we can see you. So I have to make an appointment with them and go see them, because these are symptoms that people are feeling. It is not just your imagination, like I kind of thought it was at first. I was like, no, this is just me. I got vaccinated, and now I'm freaking myself out. No, you're not, and no, I'm not. It's not. That's false. Excuse me. All 3 vaccines can cause this to happen, and it's happening in hundreds of people. It's giving, I don't know if it's hit thousands of people yet, but from what I've been gathering and what I've been listening to, there are doctors who are dealing with long haulers of COVID. And now people getting the vaccines who have not had COVID are getting long hauler symptoms. The only thing that it wasn't really explained was, if I got COVID, would it have been worse? Like, am I getting a result from the vaccine that I would have gotten from COVID? But of course, it's a little bit more, it's smaller, you know? I know that the vaccination spreads all over our body, and they consider it like a wildfire, and it's a little bit too much of a jolt if you've had COVID. But if I haven't had COVID, am I feeling a mild effect of what I would have felt if I had had COVID? So like, if I had had COVID, I would have had no symptoms in the beginning, right? Probably asymptomatic, because that's what the shot was. The shot, there was nothing for like 3, maybe 5 days. I didn't really feel anything. I did feel a little tired, but I figured that was just me, just normal within the first week. And then it continued, and it still continues to today. And then a week later, I'm getting brain fog. I'm having trouble doing things. I had trouble with the podcast last week. Going through that edit, I realized that I was just off a little bit, and I was like, what is happening? And so that's a question I didn't get answered, was, if I had had COVID, would this be what I would have, gotten? I would have been, asymptomatic. See, here I go again, repeating myself. I want to make sure this is in there, because this is craziness. I am literally repeating the last thing I just said. So what I learned is that you can treat these symptoms. Now, unfortunately, if you get COVID, the things to treat these symptoms are not readily available. So they're not on hand, and not everybody uses them. But ivermectin is one, and fluvoxamine, something like that, is the other one. And you can use them together, from what I have been listening to. But I guess ivermectin would be the main one for the fatigue and the brain fog, which is mostly what I'm having. And so I have to go and see my doctors, and we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to go over what I'm feeling and my symptoms. But I guess this was the longest way to get to this ever. This is why I'm upset I got the vaccination. This is why. Because this happened. Now, I'm almost wondering why, would I have been better off just getting COVID, just taking off my mask, saying fuck it, getting COVID, and being done with that? Because now they're finding out that a lot of people that have had COVID have these antibodies for a long time. A long time, and a lot of people getting the vaccine with COVID are getting super sick. So they're asking now, is it even worth them getting vaccinated? And the only answer is, well, they have to get vaccinated in order to travel. So there's all kinds of shit going on, and now I am part of this stupid experiment, and I don't want to be, and I'm really bummed out about myself. You know what I mean? I'm really bummed out that I wanted to take the mask off so bad that, I did this. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a regret. I don't know what it is, but I am a little bummed out that I'm part of this now, and these things are happening to me, and the only thing I can do is make an appointment with my PCP, talk to them, tell them everything, and then go from there. So that's where I'm at on the vaccine. Still getting my second shot on Sunday. Still going through with it 100%. And then I'm taking my mask off 14 days after Sunday. And then we'll really see what happens. But this is happening to a lot of people, so if it's happening to you out there, I was told by my doctors I have to go see them. So go see your doctor. Tell your doctor it's not just going to go away with time. They need to see you. They need to talk to you, and they need to hear your symptoms, because it could. I don't know what it could be, but if they're telling me to come and see them and make an appointment as soon as possible, sounds important to me. So I'm just spreading the word. I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to enjoy the summer. No dehydration, no drowning, and hopefully no COVID vaccination issues, right? It's all we can hope for. This is a rough time in life. It's hard enough maneuvering through life in general, and right now it just seems chaotic. Time seems shorter. Everybody's on edge. So just be nice to the people around you. I know you got somewhere to go, but you don't have to get there so quickly that, you could hurt someone else. Just take it easy. Take a breath. We've all been under a lot of stress. A lot of us are stressing out even more now as things are opening up. Take a breath. Let it out. Everything's going to be okay. I believe things will eventually be okay. But I also have to take my own advice, because I freaked out yesterday. Freaked out. And the one thing I like about my freakouts now, and I know this isn't anything to I'm not happy with my freakouts, right? I hate my freaking out. I hate it. I want to never freak out again, right? But they're so sparse now. There's so little of them that they're not like a thing that happens daily. And right after it happens, it's almost instantaneously where it's not that I'm apologizing, it's more that I'm recognizing how I shouldn't have said things, or listening to what I just said and realizing how it's coming out, or how it is making, my wife feel, right? And I am working on this all the time. I'm working on it every day. And some days I lose it. I lose it because of my own sense of control. I feel like my control is not there right now. I told you about the brain fog, so other things do this. But I'm really proud of myself for coming back really quick, realizing what I have said, how I said it, and then realizing that what I said wasn't even correct. You know, it was incorrect on how I said it. The information was wrong. I didn't, anything. I'm realizing it so fast now that it's also helping me to never do it again. So I think all these things are very important to talk about, because this is life. This is reality. We hurt the people that are closest to us. And I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't want to blow up anyways, because it's such a waste of energy. And I barely have enough energy to get my yard cleaned up these days. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have the same oomph behind things as I used to, unless I'm on the mats in jiu-jitsu. Then it's a different story. But yeah, so that's everything that went on with me during the week. Over the weekend. So I hope everybody out there is enjoying their weekend, and by the time I just hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and the first of the week. I hope you enjoyed your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday, and I hope you're enjoying your Thursday. I just hope everybody is enjoying life right now. Things opening up, people getting back out there, the sun shining. It's going to be a great summer. I feel like it's going to be a very, very good summer. So I am excited. New Hampshire Vape Gallery is located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings. We're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. And you can give us a phone call, 603-814-4171, and feel free to shop inside of our store. We've got it all. This vape shop has everything, and I can't say that enough. You looking for new devices? Nord 4. This thing is incredible, beautiful, dual airflow. The IPX80, amazing. Dual airflow. I love dual airflow. It just gives you a bigger, better hit. Disposables, get them. Escobars, amazing flavors. There's 12 to choose from. Great price, 2,500 puffs. You can get these and more at New Hampshire Vape Gallery, located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings, where we're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. Feel free to give us a call, 603-814-4171. And as always, I look forward to seeing you there. NaturalBossNH.com. That's NaturalBossNH.com. I love this website. They've got all the best organic products that I've ever used. They got salve for the skin. They got hand sanitizer to keep your hands clean. They got beard oil. They've got a foot and body soak that just helps you melt all that stress away. And of course, they have a lip balm that is great all year round. You can get any one or all 5 of these products today at naturalbossnh.com. That's NaturalBossNH.com. Get one or all 5 of these products today. Slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. What else can I say about this website besides the fact that I absolutely love it? I love it, love it, love it. Look at these new products. They're amazing. Not only do they have board shorts, but now they got towels. Towels for the beach day. You got to get them. I'm telling you, they got an octopus, they got a drunken lizard, they got a gorilla, and they got a tiki. These things are $20. That's a steal for these beautiful towels that you will be able to use on the beach during this summer. How exciting is that? It's just as exciting as their friggin' swim shorts. It's just that exciting. I love the new products. I love the constant adding of everything. It's just amazing. And you can only get this stuff here at slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. You're not sure how to spell that? It's right here at the bottom of the screen. So slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com, right here, bottom screen. Go there. Get your towels for your beach day. And now, back to the show. All right, it's jail stories. My jail story. Yeah, let's continue this, right? So, okay, let's say I gotta rewind a little bit. There's brain fog, and this happened in 2004. So there's a lot of lost memory here. But I've been working on it, trying to get it back, but it's really, really difficult. I have tried really hard to kind of forget about most of these things. But I'm also going to try to kind of, get it right. I want to try and get it right as much as I can. It's not like any of this stuff is documented. If I look through, my arrest, all it does is say, yeah, you locked up. You know what I mean? It doesn't, there's no details to anything, and there's no record of, I never had a journal or anything, so I didn't write any of that stuff down. But, all right, we're going to go back to when I first got let out of lockup, which was after 7 days of being in that little quarantine bubble because of the tuberculosis shot. All right. When I first got out, you are allowed to make phone calls, right? So 8th day, I get to make my very first phone call, and I haven't talked to anybody since all this went down. And I am, trying to figure out what is going on, because I got locked up, and I told you those girls had my SUV, and all my stuff was in there. I am renting an apartment in Londonderry, and now I'm renting a room. Let me say that correctly. I'm renting a room in Londonderry at this crackhead's house. Now, I told that story on an earlier podcast. I finally get to make this phone call. I think I called my parents directly. Okay. Call my parents directly, and now they are explaining to me what has happened, right? It's been 8 days, and I am looking to find out what is going on with all of my belongings that are in this apartment. I'm also trying to figure out what happened to my car and everything that's important to me in life. At that time, it was, well, I look back at it now and I'm like, that shit's not even close to important. But it was important to me at the time, turntables, records, my car, my CDs, all material things. Very important to you, a 24-year-old. So I called, my parents explained to me that the apartment has been ransacked. All my stuff is gone. They were waiting for the cops to show up so that they could get back into the apartment. They let me know that my friend tried to get into the apartment, tried to get stuff, and they were all going to go back to the apartment together. But I guess when they first showed up to the apartment, the guy I was renting the room from was literally sitting out, passing my stuff out. Now, I believe I told that story in an earlier podcast as well. I can't remember the number. But, so I'm finding all of this stuff out, right? And now I'm really upset. So I go back into the cell, and this is when the guy told me that I can't be doing that. You've got to let this go. You've got to forget about it. You can't control it, so you can't be doing that because that's going to be an issue for you, not for anybody else. It's just going to point out to them who they can pick on next or attack or, take control of because you're showing signs of weakness. So that's when he told me. It was about right after the phone call. So on the 8th day, and then, like I said, the 9th day, 10th day, and then they split us up. For other reasons too, there was 2 cellmates that weren't getting along. So in order to split them up, they needed to get us out of that room. And that's how they did a lot of stuff like that. If they don't have anybody coming in that needs to be quarantined, they'll just start splitting people up. Plus, I think there was always 1 or 2 cells empty. One, if you get out of control, they don't put you back in your cell. They put you back in a holding cell. We had like 4 cells that were off to the side, and those were if you got violent or something, because that was where they put you to separate you from everybody, and then they would take you from there and, then they would take you from there and put you in the hole, which is where none of us wanted to be. So now living with this new guy, I'm figuring things out. First couple days go by, he's helping me out, get me back on canteen, stuff like that. I'm getting excited because my parents should have gave them the money, and I should be able to order my canteen. So I'm waiting for that paperwork. Everybody gets it. I think it was like Wednesday. It was either maybe it was Monday or Tuesday. You would fill out your paperwork, and then by like Friday or Saturday, we'd have our stuff. Something like that on a rotation to actually be able to purchase stuff. So I just had then take, a whole bunch of money that I had saved up at the time, or, maybe I think it was like a paycheck or something. I don't quite remember. And I had them just dump it all in there. And because whatever you don't spend in there, you do get back. They don't cash you out. I think you have to, I think I had to get a check in the mail or something like that. So I'm getting excited about canteen, filling my stuff out, getting it all ready. And now I got stuff to barter with because I've made a bunch of orders. Plus I ordered all the stuff that I owed people. That way when I got it in, I'm just, here, you're all paid off. I treated everybody in there that helped me out like I would treat a bill. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of those people where if I get a bill, I gotta get it paid off as soon as possible. It just lingers, and and I'm not talking like a credit card. I'm talking like when you borrow money from friends and stuff, you gotta give that money back. That's it. No matter what you do in life, when you borrow money, you gotta give it back because it will always cause an issue if you don't. And sometimes you have to take that helping hand. But just if you give it back really quick, it makes the whole thing that much easier. But yeah, so now I'm starting to get acclimated to sitting with everybody. I found my spot for breakfast. I'm still talking to the gentleman I first was in there with. We're playing card games, going out into the yard. I wasn't one for playing basketball or anything like that. They got pretty violent on the basketball court sometimes. I mostly, sat on the grass, smoked cigarettes, and basically just enjoyed the sunshine while we had it and the fresh air. Not exactly the best view, but it's not supposed to be. And I would do that, and then I would, work out. And of course, we had the TV, which, whoever's been there longer usually has, whatever over the remote. And I think this is bringing us closer to like day 14, 15. Now you have to work. And I didn't know this, but if you are locked up, you are still expected to work. You're not expected to sit around and do nothing, depending on your crime. And since my crime was just resisting arrest, well, I had to go to work. I had to do things. I had to get a job. Now, at first, they just give you one. And this one was really cool, I thought, because they brought you outside. Like, we actually left the prison. Now, most of the time, the jobs that you get, you leave, but you don't leave the prison, right? You're doing kitchen, you're doing laundry. That all happens. So this job here was like, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We all get onto a bus. And I should mention, as an inmate, I don't know if it's gone up, probably hasn't, but we were like making $1 a day. So every day of work was $1, and I guess that went towards your canteen. I can't remember, but that was it. That's what you're worth in there. You know, I mean, the taxpayers, I think, pay $3,000 a day for an inmate. It's pretty crazy. I think it's $3,000. It could be more today. So we get on the bus, and you know, we're leaving. And I'm like, where are we going? You know, and they're like, we're gonna go. The guys are telling me that, you know, we're just going to wherever they take us. And I said, oh, okay, great. They get us to where we're going and park the bus in a parking lot. And now we're in like the orange jumpsuits, right? I think they gave us green tops and just orange bottoms, I think. I don't feel like everything was orange when I was out there, but they bring us to a cemetery. So we get to go out in this cemetery, and we're given weed whackers and lawnmowers. And we have to, you know, edge and mow this cemetery. And we get to go out for lunch and get subs. And, of course, at this time, I'm 24, so I eat whatever the fuck I want. Meatball subs, whatever sub I want. And I get all this stuff, and I get to eat this food, and we're out in the sunshine. And at that time, I drank soda, so I was having soda. It was a nice day. Got to know some of the other inmates. And it's what they call work release, I guess. No. Work release means you go get an actual job. This was just work that you had to do. You can get work release because if you actually have a job, they allow work release. You know, just like some people are what they call weekend warriors, where Monday through Friday, you're out in the real world, going to your job, doing your thing, and then Saturday something like that, like Friday night into Sunday morning, you're an inmate. So there's all kinds of different people being incarcerated, which is pretty interesting. You know, that I do not believe I would ever want to serve a sentence where I'm leaving and coming back every week. That's got to be intense, and it's got to be for a short time because, my God, man, I would just rather get whatever amount of days that is out of the way. It seems like it would extend it so much further, but neither here nor there. So I do all this. We're out there. We're mowing. We're eating subs, and then we all get to come back. We're back by dinner, right? We missed breakfast, missed lunch, back by dinner. So we get our food, we get everything's done, and I'm like, oh my God, are we doing that again tomorrow? And they're like, no. Now you have to find something. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, a couple days go by, and I wind up like kitchen duty. And I think now it's like day 17. And now I'm on kitchen duty. And there is this guy there. He was a wild one. Just a character, like Charles Manson looking. And I mean, he's on our block, but it's one thing for someone to be on your block. And I mean, it was always noisy there. People shouting all night. All kinds of shit going on. People banging stuff, talking through the vents. So there's just noise. And I never really noticed. I mean, you can't not notice the guy, but I never really heard him talk or heard his thoughts. And being at the lunch table while on kitchen duty, because you get to have lunch, we sit around, and there was like 6 of us there, and we're all talking, and that guy was talking in somewhat of a mumble, and he used to call Pall Mall cigarettes pale males. He always wanted them pale males. And yeah, he was in there for, I don't know what he was actually in there for, but the stories he was telling us of the things that have happened to him or he did were disturbing. There was stories of, what's the chickens? Fowl? Is that what you call chickens? Fowl? Anyways, there was chickens, there was roosters, there was holes in dirt on a hill that this guy would stick his dick in. And it was creepy, concerning, and sometimes hilarious. So my assumption was he was in there for some type of crime, right? Well, it turns out that he was, because he ends up getting moved. And that happens around day 1920. So I've been working in the kitchen a couple times. But then all this goes down because something happened that I wasn't involved in, and it involved that guy and it involved another guy. And so we're all in our cells on this day. Like I said, I don't remember if it's 19 or 20. I'm not sure. It might have been a day before that too. Everything's really foggy. But I was in we were doing a count. All right. So we went out to yard, everything at yard, and then all of a sudden they brought us in, they locked us all up, and they said they were doing a head count. And I noticed that there's like out my window on the second tier, you can look down, and in the far corner was in that far corner was the laundry room. Okay, so you notice that you see a CEO come out of the laundry room, and then you see that guy that I was talking about go in the laundry room, and then you see like 3 other guys go into that room, and then the door gets shut, and the CEO is standing in front of it with his arms crossed, just standing there. I think maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes went by. All of a sudden, 3 guys walk out, and then 2 CEOs go in, and that guy gets kind of carried out. And then like 2 days later, yeah, so it had to have been the 18th day, because it was, I remember very clearly, on the 20th day, they put us into an emergency lockdown, the entire prison, to move this guy. So they locked down the entire prison when they move somebody to PC, which is protective custody for being a snitch, child molester, any of those things that we as humans, as just people. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. What kind of person am I? Compassionate? I don't know. Not disgusting. I mean, I got so many other words I want to use, but I won't. But yeah, when you have to move somebody to protective custody, they lock down the entire prison, and they like had him out like crossing yards. It was really weird. They didn't take him through the building at all. They took him around the buildings and then brought him to where he was going. So that was very interesting to see. It was something that I thought I never thought I'd see any of this shit, because I was a cocky, stupid son of a bitch who thought that, I would never get locked up. And two, you see this stuff on movies and shit like that, and then it happens, and you see it happening, and you're like, oh shit, this is for real. So all this stuff going down, and now because of this, I lose my job at the kitchen. Not because I had anything to do with it, but because they wanted all new people in the kitchen. It's just what they do. They don't just bring back a couple people that they think weren't involved. They just eliminate the whole crew and they redo the whole crew. Everybody, you don't have to stay there. So a couple guys were upset because, the kitchen job is a really good job to have. It really is. I loved eating there. You could bring fucking food back. I mean, it was nice. You get a lot of little benefits with being able to do kitchen duty. But this brings me to the end of 20 days. All right. So when I come back, we'll be talking about days 20 through 30, and we'll be finishing this up. But yeah, seeing somebody get beaten up in a laundry room, and it was really eye-opening, and it made me realize that all the people that I've always made friends with, even today, I just realized how important these people are to me, and I think subconsciously, the people that I feared when I was younger are the people that I always made friends with. And I'm not saying that people that I'm friends with today, that's how they got picked. Most of the people that I'm friends with today, I became acquaintanced to through the other friends. But I mean, even in my younger years, when I got beaten up, I ended up making friends with that kid. So I always had people that I feel always had my back. And I always felt protected by them. But at one point in time, I did fear them, which is why I made friends with them, because I feel like if you fear somebody, that's a good friend right there, because you know that person's gonna have your back. And I'm not saying like I was super afraid of this person. I mean, the one friend I did make, he beat me up when I was younger, and I was afraid of him. But this is how I've always kind of made my friends. So I did the same thing in there, If it was somebody that came up to me and, wanted to talk to me, which was one of the things that happened over the course of 10 days, was meeting more people. I just loaded up with people that didn't take any shit from anybody else. And I would be friends with those people. Luckily, I told everybody I was only there for 30 days, and I wasn't fucked with. So I got really lucky about that, because a lot of people doing short-time bids, they get kind of thrown into things, and they get treated differently, and some people will look and be jealous of you, and they will try to sabotage you so that you wind up doing more time. Oh, and the alcohol. Let me go back to the alcohol real quick. I'm so sorry. I was so hooked on that story. And like I said, the brain fog and everything else. So when I started making the alcohol on day 13, when I finally got all my ingredients, I saved everything and I start making it. By day 20, we have that lockdown. We have the guy beat up. We have the other lockdown where the friggin' guy's getting brought across, right? And now we're having our rooms tossed. So I see that our rooms are getting tossed. Everybody tells me that, all of us, we all talked about it. We knew it was coming. So everybody warned everybody and was like, whatever you got going on, you got to get rid of it now. I was like, shit. So, of course, I run up to the room. I think it's evening. Yeah. It's like afternoon, evening. We've just had dinner. And now they're starting to toss rooms before bedtime. This is what they do. They don't give a fuck what time it is. If that CEO comes on his shift and he wants to toss everybody, he just tosses everybody. That's how it goes. So I get up to my room because, one, I'm getting everything ready for hanging out with everybody, playing some cards, getting the ramen. We used to like to do batches. Batches is where everybody puts in a whole bunch of shit, mostly just ramen, and you keep your packet, but everybody puts the ramen into a big trash bag, and then they fill it with hot water, and you brew the whole thing, and somebody's in charge of that with all the seasoning and stuff, and then they scoop it out of the bag and dump it into your cup. So I'm getting all that stuff ready, and then we get word of this. So I run up to my room, and I grab the drink, and I down it really fast. And still had some of the sleeping pills that I was taking to help assist me. The guy that I was with in the beginning, I forgot about this too. He had sleeping pills, and he was sharing those with me. It was helping us sleep, but once we ran out of the sleeping pills, we didn't have any more. But once I got out and I started making friends with people, all of a sudden I could find pills. And I had some pills that would help assist with sleeping and not really getting fucked up too much. But that also did happen. But yeah, so the alcohol, I have to run up there. I have to drink it. I pound it back. I get all my stuff together, and then I get out of my room. You don't need to be there when they're tossing it unless they call you back in. And I go to where I need to be, and I pretend like I have no idea what's going on. This is where putting that down was so gross, but my brain was like, ooh, I like this. I like it. And my mouth and everything else in my body was like, oh, this is so disgusting. What are we doing? By 20 minutes later, I'm talking, I'm doing my thing, whatever, and then all of a sudden, I start going because now the alcohol is kicking in my system, and I'm getting kind of fucked up. And I do have to say that a couple people had to ask if I was okay, what's going on. I explained it to them. They said, okay, keep it cool. And then all of a sudden, CEO's asking for me to come in. I have to go see it turns into a thing, and I'm just sitting there sweating as they're digging through my stuff, trying not to really do much. And they didn't find anything, obviously, because if they had found something, it wouldn't have been just a 30-day bid. I get out of that situation, but everybody else can tell that I'm pretty drunk, and, they're just basically hiding me from the CEOs for the rest of the night to make sure that, I don't get in any trouble for it. So it wound up being a lot more powerful than I anticipated, but I was also 20 days off of alcohol and any drug at that point, except for sleeping pills. And so it kicked my ass, but that is why it was disgusting. But my brain told me to keep going because it wanted it. and I got really fucked up from it, and I almost ended up doing more time because, I decided to, I drank it, and then they tossed the room and called me in. Luckily it was just apple juice, less, it wasn't alcohol per se, but it was alcohol. But it was so crazy to me that, that you could do all this. I didn't know any of this existed, I mean, people will just make anything work. So that's my jail story for this week. I'll finish it up next week. I got a couple more things that go on. Getting my third job inside of there. So I'll bring you to that, walk you through it. And I just hope, everybody, I hope you enjoy these stories. I really do. I really hope everybody enjoys these stories as much as I enjoy telling them. I hope there's something in there that you heard that stands out to you and keeps you from doing all these silly things that I do. Like I said, it is a scorcher outside. I had to turn off the AC in order to record, and I can feel it heating up now. I can feel it is getting hot in here. So I'm going to have to take 5 before I do something else, but thanks for listening to the podcast. I appreciate it very much. I can't say that enough to all of you out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to subscribe, hit those like buttons, share, rate, review. All of these things help the podcast grow. Check out my sponsors. That helps me coming back week after week. It helps float this podcast. The sponsors help float the podcast, so please check them out. Let them know that Topher sent you, and that just, it helps me keep this podcast afloat. So do those things. I appreciate it. Thank you. As always, don't forget to check out the email, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. And remember to follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Again, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Go there, follow. Putting stuff out almost every day, every week. So again, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Go there, follow. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thursday. Enjoy the weather. Stay hydrated. Be safe while you're swimming. And have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, I'll talk to you later.